Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, these items, I could do a separate show on them, but it would just be too much to do. So I'm going to do one show, and you're going to find this very interesting. I'm going to cover some topics that I've picked up on the campaign trail, state some positions, and make some observations. First, I talked to this gentleman from Western Kentucky, and his wife is a diabetic. And the diabetic doctor that they see is going to move out of state. And he maintains that where he lives in far western Kentucky, that there is absolutely now going to be no diabetic doctor in the state of Kentucky. I've read about this in the past. Kentucky has a real problem providing health care with doctors in the rural areas of the state. I'll solve that problem. You know what? It hasn't been solved yet. It's unbelievable. I got an email from somebody who owns a trucking company, and they talk about how unbelievable the damage to their semi-tractor trailers and trucks are from the roads that they traverse across Kentucky, from the interstates to arterial roads to back roads. They said it's unbelievable how terrible the roads are. And what do we have? We have Allison Ball bragging how much money we have. By the way, when Allison Ball brags about Kentucky having more money than ever before, that means we've paid too much in taxes. I'm really cracking up at the copycats of my opponents. My campaign team sees it every day. They go, oh my God, Eric, they're copying you. Ryan Qualls just did a gun video. Wonder where you got that idea from, Ryan. So, you know, the greatest form of flattery is when they copycat you. These candidates are copycatting me everywhere. Somebody who's not copycatting me is Kelly Craft. She fell on her face on the empty chair. She fell on her face on the border issue. Now she's fallen on her face wanting to get rid of the Department of Education. Folks, I'm against the swamp, okay? We have to have a public education system. Every state has to have one. Not everybody's going to go to private school. We need a public education system, and it needs to be good. I'm telling you right, you know what's so amazing about the liberal media? The liberal media ought to be loving me, but they're not. And I think the reason why is they know that I'll beat Bashir. Because I'm saying things that liberal media should say, well, Eric Deters isn't extreme about this. I'm pro-union, I'm pro-workers, I'm pro-cannabis, I'm pro-gaming, and we shouldn't get rid of the Department of Education. I crack up how the Courier-Journal and some of these other reporting, they color everything Kelly Craft says, and it's like, why are you covering that? Cameron challenged everybody who's running for the ESG that we're not going to go for this environmental crap when we invest in Kentucky's money. Duh. Don't worry, Cameron. I don't need you to ask me to take a pledge on that issue. Just political gobbledygook. Kentucky Internet. You know, this tour that Bashir is taking. You know what? That problem should have been solved long ago. When did we get the internet? I think it was back in the early 1990s, and we still don't have it. I've gotten some messages. I'm all for the Kentucky constable system. I think it's a system that's been there. I like it. I think it's a neat thing for rural communities especially. So all of you constables out there, I support you. Convention of States. I get asked that all the time. I think I'm the only Republican nominee that supports the Convention of States. It would not hurt anything. Skills training. I have advocated forever. You can go back 30 years on my radio show, 20 years on my radio show. I advocated what Germany does. 8th grade, you should have all the basics, and that's when you decide which avenue you're going to go, off to university or skill trades. Every high school, every public high school in the state of Kentucky ought to have a room for plumbing, electric, computers, auto mechanics, on and on. You know what I'm talking about? Construction. These kids ought to get out of high school, instead of taking chemistry, they ought to be taking trades. They'd get out of high school in 4 years ready to enter the workforce. I'm gonna push that hard. Juvenile justice system, centers corrupt as hell, whistleblowers are nailing them. Kentucky State Radio, Matt Jones, who just is another one of those guys that ignores me, they're leaving me out of the debate. Hey, Matt, I just spent $400,000 on a direct mail piece. I'm not one of the top tier candidates. I'm going to win. Simon Kitten and a lot of these people that up on their school board said, we would like to thank the school board for school board week. School board members. The school board members spend our taxpayer monies. Why don't Simon Kent and these other schools put up, thank you taxpayers? I crack up. This is a pet peeve of mine. I hope it's a pet peeve of yours. Children's mental health is a real problem. I'm going to do something about it. COVID being improperly used across this state needs to stop. Universal pre-K. Yeah, the public school system screwed up, so let's give them another grade to screw up. I'm against it. Let people do that with their daycare centers and at home, wherever. We have to get back to work. I've received information that apparently a Blake Render is teaching some crazy stuff in Bowling Green. I'm trying to confirm it. More on that later. I received information that P.G. Burnett, the state police commissioner, has got some sexual harassment problems. More to follow. I've received some information that Henry County has got some water problems. More to follow on that. I am the only candidate. I want to stress this to you. No campaign manager. No pestering you for money. I'm my own treasurer. I'm my own content creator. I don't charge you for yard signs. I'm in the game every day with you, not just campaigning. I got a real job. The media ignores me, and yet the media contacts me and wants me to spend money with them for the campaign. Isn't that great? Two final things. September 8th, mark your calendar. That's the day before Freedom Fest. We're going to have the largest bonfire field party music festival ever in the history of Kentucky. It's going to be college kids focused, bonfire, field party, music festival the evening before the big event on September 9th, which is the Freedom Fest, which I think President Trump's coming. It's on his schedule. Last but not least, I want to point something out. I have told Bulldog Media to stop reporting anything from Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, obviously Savannah Maddox, Chris Weiss. Let me explain why. These people, do you realize we've invited Rand Paul to every one of our Freedom Fests to speak, and he ignores us? You all need to know this. Those of you that like Rand Paul, and do I like Rand Paul? Sure, I like the way Rand Paul votes and everything else. But you know what Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Savannah Maddox was like this, Chris Weiss, and all these Liberty people, you know what they act like? Despite you and me having the same positions that they do, they act like they own the platform. They own the position. Rather than bring more people in and we're all on the same team, they don't want anybody else on the team except their team. It's nuts. It just proves that they're not true believers for the argument's sake, that it's all about them. It's all about them versus the cause. They do it all the time. Think about it. Think about it. Why would Rand Paul blow off the Freedom Fest? Really? By the way, it's his prerogative, but why would he do that? Why would Thomas Massey mistreat me? By the way, he mistreated me before the war started, folks. You know, I am a constitutional conservative in the same vein as Massey, Maddox, Rand Paul, and anything else. But I'm also a pragmatic problem solver. And when people agree with me, I don't want to exclude them and say, well, you're not us, so I don't want you to be in a... So it's kind of like, well, if they're going to do it to me, I'm going to do it to them. It's kind of messed up, isn't it? This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.